window here. So all the A5 square plates will fit into this window. What this will do is it will keep our parchment nice and flat as we're working on it. So for example, if I had a longer piece, it won't get creased. We want it so that it's reading groovy the right way up, because that's the side the groove is.
Good advice, yes.
So we want to make sure we can read groovy the right way up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hard side of the embossing mat from the starter kit under there. There we go. And I'm going to attach the parchment to the plate using groovy tabs.
Groovy tabs. You know what? I'm no expert whatsoever, but I do get lucky enough to sit next to Tina often. And the groovy tabs, and with Paul and with Barbara as well, so useful, aren't they? The groovy tabs.
Yeah.
Goodness me, for just keeping bits and bobs, but not affecting your parchment whatsoever.
And they last such a long time. So I'm just going to stick that down there and stick that down. I'll just put it on the side there, just so the parchment doesn't move. I'm going to give the parchment a rub with the tumble dryer sheet. What this will do is it will help the tool glide easier as we are embossing. Try and avoid rubbing the tumble dryer sheet on your plate and things, because it picks up the wax and things, which stops the groovy tabs working for as long. And it's a good idea to actually rub the tumble dryer sheet before you stick it down.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start with creating a frame. So when that's over my emboss line. So I'm using the groovy guard to hold my parchment, help me hold my parchment down, and using the number 1 tool. So what I've, let me use this one. So number 1, 2, they are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and because I want a crisp white outline, I'm using the number 1. If I wanted a soft white outline, I would use a number 2, which I will show you in a minute. But first, let's get the frame done.
So the guard, the tabs, and everything, you saw it in the accessory kit. It is available on the show page. Where we go.
So I like to just keep turning my work as I'm embossing. Oopsie daisy, don't fall off. I need you. And we've got our frame instantly. Now, I think, you know, if we were to do that freehand, we would still be, for example, tracing and things, and imagine, you know, freehand doing a circle.
Well, back in the day, how did you think people just avoided circles back in the day when it was freehand?
I don't think...
I guess people at practice and are experts.
I don't think I ever did a circle that was perfect.
No.
I think you just hope no one will notice the wibbly-wobbly lines, to be honest. And wherever there was too much wibbly-wobbly lines, basically then I just stuck a butterfly over it.
The classic.
Yeah,
the
I'll stick a flower
Even
over
Tina
it.
Cox, everybody. Absolutely.
But this project, if I don't need a butterfly, I don't need to put it, because it's going to be a perfect circle. The other thing I did is I embossed the what's it?
Oh, it's
something.
I know they're called mistletoe.
Mistletoe.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's going to be just another berry leaf.
Yeah. 20%, Tina. 20% through the seasons has sold out. It's only been on there for 23 minutes. Bravo, all 4 brand new designs from me taking you through the seasons, but there are interchangeable elements, absolutely. Not just with the frames, but actually with the floor as well. For example, we'll show you later on, but I noticed on the autumn leaves, they're almost like tulips right in the middle. So you know what? There are elements that you can take and bring across.
So I'm just going, and you can see it is so quick to do. I'm just pressing into the grooves and embossing it. For me, when I do this, it's magic. What I've done is I've flipped over to the number 2. It's a slightly larger ball tool, because I'm going to emboss these little centers and the berries as white work. So I want a soft outline. Oopsie daisy. There you go.
How do you describe the pressure you use?
I'm not pressing very hard at all, because I don't need to. I think it's something, if you're just starting off, start off gentle, and I'm saying that because I know as much as I can say, don't worry, most likely you're not going to go through, everyone is scared. I was petrified the first time. So if you start off gentle, you will know how white it's getting. And then you can go back over.
Yeah.
I mean, even now, I rarely press really hard. I go over a few times because that's my personal preference.
I think you'd be surprised how strong parchment is. Like you've got to make quite the effort to go. You can of course go through it, but you've got to make the effort too.
And also with the Groovy system, the tools have been designed such that they fit perfectly in the grooves. So it's very unlikely you're going to go through. I love the idea of the double-ended tools because as you can see, I just flip the tool over to when I'm using the number 1 and 2 as I go along. So basically, if I just explain the next stage, I'll turn that around so I can show you the number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I emboss the whole of this star element of the design.
Lovely.
I want this circle, but not yet, because if I bring the card in, I want the circle to tuck behind
this is the
leaves
point. Yeah, because
there.
I thought like layering wise.
For layering. So
bear that in mind.
I want that to go behind the leaves.
Okay.
So I'm not going to emboss this large circle as yet.
Okay.
I can, whoopsie.
Oh, good save,
almost.
good save.
This is why I've got a second one there. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm just going to quickly show you the number 1 and number 2, what it looks like.
We're just popping those off. Those 4 are available individually, $9.79 in the club. So if you want to go for spring, summer, autumn, winter, by all means you can. The details are on the screen, 85463. Of course, less in the club, so about £8.50. There are your details, the one item number. If you want to go for 4, you're going to put 4 quantities under that item number. Of course, you've got the greater one, which then has a discount on those items.
So now that I've turned it round to the back, so the embossing would be the back of your work. The line art is the back of your work. So on the front, this is what it looks like, where we've used the number 1, 2. You've got the crisp white outlines.
Yep.
And where we've used the number 2 tool, it's a much softer white. It will become easier to emboss. So now I want to put the frame of the... So I'm just going to line that up, and you can see how...
So you've swapped
I've
plates?
swapped it, yes, I've
Here's
swapped it to the autumn one, and you want Groovy to read the right way up. Let me put it this way so it's easier. There we go. Groovy reading the right way up. And you can see how this square frame fits over the straight edge to line it up. So you know it's sort of central, so it becomes so much easier to mix and match your designs. So what I would do next is I am going to emboss the floral, the leaf.
Yeah,
border
it's almost like
there.
a wreath, but it's square.
Yeah, so just it's really pretty. So I'm not doing this square, just the leaf. So again, number 1, number 2 tool, and I'm not going to do a lot of this because you've got the general idea.
But already, and I know so many of you are already converted and you're after it already. That's why you're shopping before we even gave you the item number 61009944 together. But I do want to stress, if you are brand new and you've got that, or you've just ordered a starter kit, I think every time I sit next to Tina and her colleagues, how quickly it comes together, but how it looks like you want your traditional parchment to work, you know, to look like that beautiful
Definitely.
white work.
And you know, if you're just starting, you've put the starter kit in your basket, you're starting a complete new hobby that is just so beautiful. And if you can stretch, definitely put these frames in, because as your collection builds, you're going to use these frames over and over again with your other collections. For me, as soon as I put this frame, it just speaks parchment craft. They're so delicate. It's such a delicate collection that it just, even if you put something bolder with them, it just works. It just adds that. I find parchment craft very elegant, very soft.
Agreed, yeah.
And these frames does that instantly. It adds that softness to your design.
You see this like cards in front of me, I've stood up are pretty big, right? So you can do your larger designs or smaller ones. You can still make and sell if you wish, but there is a difference, isn't there, when it comes to parchment? If you receive that gift and you're like, you take your time, you look at it, no matter not just a place, but what you're going to create in the end.
people, you know, when you give a parchment card, they actually will frame it because it's no longer a card. For me, when I do parchment card for someone, it's a gift in itself, in a way, because I've spent that time thinking of them, making the card, the time, which is always in short supply these days in the modern world. You know, but you know, and a lot of them frame them, which is really nice, you know. Okay, so I'll talk through the next few so we can work through various techniques. So what I've done is I have embossed that border, which I was doing just now. So we would have embossed this border all the way around. Then what I did is, like I said, because we hadn't embossed the circle from the previous plate, this plate, I took the parchment off, put it back on this, and embossed this circle so it went behind the plate. So if you're just starting off, one of the things you need to do is, if you want something to go behind, don't cross over your previously embossed outlines. You know, skip those, and that will make it look like it's gone behind. And then the final thing I did is I used this plate.
From the other collection, from Tina's collection.
From the Floral Delights collection. So although, you know, they're in the panels there, I didn't want the panels. I created my own floral design. So I started in the middle with this, put a flower in, moved it along, put another flower in, the little flower there, and then I used just the straight to create the straight lines for the stems. So basically started with a large flower in the middle, and then just moved it around to where I wanted it to sit, she says, like this, something like this. And then the smallest one there. But you can play with the arrangement you want. I wanted a straight frame. I didn't want a curved frame. So using just, you know, one of those, you can put in your straight frame, any of the straight lines. So I've done that. And then the leaves are from there as well. Added a few extra to fill that space. So in the end, what we have is this as the whole design.
Isn't that absolutely divine?
This is lovely the way it is. So if you're just starting off, you know, you put this on Clarity Designer paper, companion paper, anything, it's going to look very pretty, you know. But for us here, we're going to do a little bit of embossing. We're going to do a little bit of coloring, just to add an extra on these frames.
Can I do a little recap and then we'll crack on with that?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Give us a